Britain initially stayed on the sidelines as it witnessed Europe descending into chaos, with revolutionaries seizing power in France and even executing their own king in January 1793. With growing concern, the British observed how France transformed into an anti-monarchic powerhouse, determined to protect its revolutionary ideals at all costs, even if it meant going to war with the rest of Europe. One event that significantly inclined the British public and government toward war with France was the French invasion of the Austrian Netherlands, modern-day Belgium, in September 1792. As always, preventing enemy forces from gaining control of Belgium and its crucial seaport of Antwerp played a crucial role in British foreign policy in Europe. Nevertheless, it was actually the French who declared war on Britain first, in February 1793. While an expeditionary force under the Duke of York was fighting the French in the Low Countries and the campaign against the French West Indies was being prepared, several strategic opportunities emerged in France itself. Ever since the extremist Jacobin takeover under the leadership of the notorious Robespierre, some elements of the French population had grown wary of the bloodshed and revolted against the central government in Paris. The royalist revolt in the Vendée region and the rebellions in several southern French cities such as Toulon, Marseille and Avignon in the summer of 1793 were particularly significant. Robespierre and his followers, as inexorable as ever, dispatched a massive army to southern France to teach the rebels a brutal lesson in liberty, equality and fraternity. Among them was a Corsican artillery captain poised to make his mark on world history. At Toulon, the frightened populace, cramped and starving, turned to their traditional enemy for help. They did not have to look far, as the British commander of the Mediterranean fleet was just a few miles offshore, blockading the important harbour with his 21 ships of the line. Lord Hood, a seasoned admiral aged 69, received their offer aboard his flagship HMS Victory with marked interest. If Toulon declared itself for the Bourbon monarchy and allowed British occupation of the town, the Royal Navy would gladly provide aid to the desperate citizens. The French at the naval base, unable to refuse, accepted Hood's terms. Lord Hood began landing his men to bolster the defences of Toulon, occupying the various forts around the city. When the British government was informed of Hood's decision, their reaction was mixed. Some regretted that Hood was protecting the interests of the French royal house, while most applauded him for securing such an important strategic point. From Toulon, Britain could open up a second front. Furthermore, France's powerful Mediterranean fleet of 22 ships of the line was now safely in Hood's hands. Other nations also sent reinforcements to the royalist troops, including Spain, Naples, Sicily and the Kingdom of Sardinia. In total, some 12,000 Allied soldiers landed to keep the Jacobins out of this vital naval base. Protecting the city proved to be a significant challenge, as it was surrounded by mountains that the Jacobins could easily use to bombard Toulon from elevated positions. To strengthen his position within Toulon, Hood ordered 4 French ships of the line to leave the harbour, as the loyalties of their crews were uncertain. By mid-September, the troops of Robespierre arrived at the gates of Toulon to execute their death warrant. At its height, around 33,000 French soldiers lay siege to the port city. The young artillery captain Napoleon Bonaparte devised a strategy that would tip the battle in the Republicans' favor. He proposed attacking the forts of Les Guillettes and Balaguier to cut off the small harbor from the larger one. This masterstroke would make it impossible to resupply the Allied troops in the city of Toulon. General Carteau initially doubted the plan and sent only a small number of troops to support Napoleon. Napoleon's first attempt to capture the forts indeed failed, and the Allied forces, sensing Jacobin interest in this sector, subsequently constructed another fort to strengthen the defences, Fort Mulgrave. The British considered this string of fortresses unconquerable and even nicknamed it Little Gibraltar. However, Napoleon subsequently ordered all available cannons in the vicinity to be brought to him, He set up a total of 50 batteries with around 300 cannons on elevated positions to deliver an immense barrage on the city. The Allies, realizing the danger, launched a sortie against Napoleon's cannons but were repelled, with British General O'Hara being captured in the process. On the night of December 16th, Napoleon, along with Dugommier and La Poppe, launched a large-scale attack against the fortresses of Little Gibraltar. By morning, all the British forts had been captured and the Allied forces decided to evacuate the harbour. Some British blamed the Spanish for the failure at Toulon, as they had not delivered the promised number of reinforcements. The subsequent evacuation was tumultuous to say the least. The Allied forces sought the complete destruction of Toulon's naval capabilities. Hood aimed to dismantle the Mediterranean fleet, destroy the harbour's naval stores, and obliterate its infrastructure as much as possible. Captain Sidney Smith of HMS Swallow was appointed to lead this operation of the utmost importance. On the night of December 18th, Smith, along with 3 British and 3 Spanish gunboats, advanced towards Toulon to set fire to the dockyard facilities and French warships. Around 22, the fireship Vulcan, commanded by Captain Hare, was set ablaze next to a French warship. As the fire reached the Vulcan's guns, they began firing automatically onto the shore. Meanwhile, Smith set fire to the storehouses of Toulon, which were filled with timber, tar, oil, pitch and tallow, as well as the mast house. Years of naval supplies were destroyed within hours, severely undermining French naval capabilities in the Mediterranean for years to come. When the Spanish set the frigate Iris ablaze, they were unaware of the vast amount of gunpowder stored on board. A cataclysmic explosion ensued, sinking a British gunboat. Smith then aimed to set fire to the French warships in the basin after the Spanish had failed to do so, but he could not reach them due to Republican fire from the shore. However, he managed to burn 2 third-raters, the Hérault and the Themistoclès. When the French frigate Montréal exploded, debris fell from all sides around Smith, forcing him to abandon his plan to continue setting fire to the French fleet. Smith's flotilla then proceeded to embark the last of the Allied troops left ashore before heading into open waters. In total, the British managed to evacuate around 14,900 French loyalists, while approximately 2,000 prisoners and 6,000 civilians, including women and children, were slaughtered by the Jacobin troops. The Allies managed to capture 15 French ships of the line, including 2 74 gunships and 3 excellent frigates, which were incorporated into the Royal Navy. The massive Commerce de Marseille was also retained by Britain, but due to its unseaworthiness, it was converted into a prison hulk. Smith's actions resulted in the burning of 9 French ships of the line. In total, the Republicans lost around 58 warships on that day, both large and small. This made December the 18th arguably the most destructive day in French naval history since Quiberon Bay in 1759. However, the Republicans still retained 4 fine 74 gunships and the 80-gun Tonnant, along with some other ships of the line that were still under construction. If you have enjoyed this video, please consider supporting the channel by subscribing to my Patreon or leaving a donation on Buy Me a Coffee. As you can imagine, preparing and creating these videos takes quite a bit of time, and any support would be greatly appreciated. Also, if you want to read more about British naval history, check out the Heart of Oak website for articles covering diverse periods and aspects of the British Navy, as well as the navies of Australia, Canada, and New Zealand.